Special thank you to our sponsors of Russ Reels Live, Healthcare Amplified, Profit Comes First, and Mugs Coffee in Lebanon, Oregon. For more information on Healthcare Amplified and their upcoming summit, go to healthcareamplified.org/summit. And for more information on Rocky Balbani and Profit Comes First, go to profitcomesfirst.com. And finally, for more information on Mugs Coffee House in Lebanon, Oregon, and their amazing coffee, go to mugslebanon.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Russ Reels Live this Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, or Pacific Standard Time, I should say. Whatever time it is, wherever you are, I'm just happy you're here. I'm just blessed to be in the company of the amazing people that I have on tonight. I'm so blessed and thankful for great friends that are willing to share their time with me and with you. It's going to be great. I know the comments are already starting to take off, so we want you to jump in. Want you to comment, want you to tell us you're here, say hi and connect in the comments, tag your friends, share it with everybody. It's going to be so much fun. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. First off, this show is all about the topic we pick for the Thursday night show and the panel we bring on. So it's a topic-driven, panel-driven show. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because we get into some good discussions around some good topics. Tonight we're going to talk about when life gets messy. And we all know life gets a little messy at times. So excited to get into this conversation. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody, I love to connect with people. In fact, my goal this year is to connect with at least 1,000 new people again. That was my goal last year, and I knocked that right out of the park. And so we're looking to do that again. And you connect with me by going to russhedge.com. That's russhedge.com. Love to connect with you. All my information there, so I don't need to give it all to you. Just go to russhedge.com, and whatever you like to do to connect, you can do it there. And if you wanted to schedule time with me and skip all that, you can go straight there, schedule time on my calendar at russhedge.com, and you'll be good to go. Also, want to just really encourage you to subscribe on YouTube. So you see a ticket along the bottom too, but all you got to do is go to russreels.live, russreels.live, and you can subscribe and get amazing, amazing content. Why? Not because of me, but because of all the amazing people I've had on. Marketing with Russ, Russ Reels Live, and we're even rebroadcasting the Experience Live with Russ and Scott on there now. So there's some amazing stuff on there. You can even go all the way back, and you can see happy moments with Mama. I had the world's greatest mama, and I have some amazing videos. So if you want to search all the way back, but you got to get on there and you got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So do that at russreels.live. Also, right now you can share this out. Just click the share button and let people know. Open another tab, subscribe on YouTube, be a multitasker, get all that stuff going, and you are ready for the evening and ready for this amazing conversation that we're about to have. So with that, also want to remind you just a couple quick things. If you have not got your copy of my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, the sequel to that's already coming out in 2024. So you're going to want to hurry up and get this one, read through it. You can also get the companion workbook on Amazon, and that just helps you get more out of the book. Also just came out with Rattled Awake Volume 1. One of my guests tonight, Nancy Barrows, has been on Rattled Awake Volume 2. So there's 3 volumes out now on that one. I was blessed to be on the crew for Volume 1 and my chapter all about my cancer journey over the last year and a half and everything that I've been going through and my Rattled Awake moment. Also, have just written a chapter for the upcoming Volume 2 of Perspectives on Cancer with my good friend Tim Sohn. That'll be out in February of this coming year. And I'm working with Nicole right now and CJ and a bunch of the crew to write a book that is going to be an amazing, amazing international bestseller overnight like Rattled Awake was. And it's called A Note to My Family. I think that's the name of it. Anyway, it's something like that. But it's really leaving a legacy to future generations, leaving just a little snippet of all about me. And so I'm looking forward to that. And that I just got done with my first draft of my chapter. That one will be out in December of this year. So, wow, I've done like 3 collaborative books in the last 6 months, which has been amazing and been so much fun. So, anyway, if you would keep your eyes out for those, and I think that's it. I think I've said enough. Okay, let's get the show rolling. Okay. So first off, we're going to bring in, of course, Nancy. We always go ladies first. So Nancy's coming in the house. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, hello. How are you? I love how you ended that with, so that's all I've been doing, or something to that effect. Oh, that's all that stuff. Yeah, just a little
Well,
bit
you know
busy.
what? I tell you, it has been busy, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a good process. I'm telling you, the great thing about collaborative books is that you write your chapter, do a little work collaborating and editing, and then they take care of the rest. It's
Yes,
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So I do like that part of it. And
I
Nancy,
agree. I
I
agree.
am so thankful to have you here. Besides being a co-author on volume 2 of Rattled Awake, which is great for you and for Brian and so many people. Um, I also love everything about you except your UCLA sweatshirt. Of course, I'm an Oregon State Beaver. I don't
Oh,
have my Beaver shirt on right now, but it's okay. The Beavers beat UCLA this year, so we're
I
all
was going
set.
to say, what year don't they? I mean, I can admit that there's not much to root for. I'm going to get the strings out. There's not much to root for right now. Or in the last couple of seasons, we don't get to celebrate all that often here in Bruin Nation, but we're proud and we continue to represent.
That's it. Well, my son and daughter-in-law live right down by the Rose Bowl, and
Okay.
back in the day when I was in college, which was just a couple of years ago,
Right.
Troy Aikman was a quarterback of the Bruins, and so they were a
Mhm.
little better than us back then, just by just a teeny little bit. So anyway, hey Nancy, give everybody a snippet. We're gonna get everybody in the room here, but give everybody a snippet. Who is Nancy Debra Barrows?
Who is Nancy Debra Barrows? Well, I am known as the Queen of Engagement, and I've been recognized by LinkedIn as a 5-time top voice. I've been named one of the top 50 most impactful people of LinkedIn, one of the top 50 most inspired connections, one of the top 50 250 rising stars and influencers to watch. As you mentioned, I am a best-selling author, a 3-time best-selling author with 4 more books, that collaborative books in the works, one of which is co-authored with Brian Schulman, who's here, which is on heart-centered leadership, which will be coming out in 2024. I founded the hashtag Radiating Real movement. It was to encourage people to take off their masks and show up how they are in any given moment so that they're receiving that unconditional love and acceptance that we all deserve. I am a keynote speaker. I am founder and chief excitement officer at the Chick with the Tool Belt. 20 plus years of being a speech language pathologist, focusing on social cognition. I co-host along with Brian Schulman 2 global award-winning live shows, and it's starting to get a little bit boring, right? I co-host Human Conversations. More importantly, I show up in my bathrobe. I'm a dedicated cat mama, a lover of carrot cake, and a native New Yorker. Well, she say it like that, a native New Yorker. I'm deeply human. I'm deeply human, and I'm out there living life like everyone else. I am flawed, and I wore a mask myself for too many years before I unburdened myself. And I am dedicated to sharing my story and my journey, and insist on including the ugly, snotty, and sexy, because without it, we're literally killing one another. If I saw me today when I was 20, I would have had some hand gestures and choice words for me, because without the ugly, snotty, unsexy, we tend to leave people feeling alone, and that,
Yeah.
they're the only one that's experiencing this. So yeah, I'm out here living life and being human. That's who Nancy Debra Barrows is.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that, the ugly, sexy, whatever, however you put that. I got that. And before I jump into the next person to our group, though, I just noticed that Kenny is joining us from YouTube. Kenny's in the
Yay.
house on YouTube. Thanks, Kenny. All right, so we're gonna bring Mr. Russ Johns next in the house. He's back there just waiting. The Pirate Man. How you doing, Russ?
I'm better than average. I can't complain. And as I tell you often, every day is a blessing, and I have gratitude for the opportunity to actually help more people help more people. So
Yeah, you do. You
that's
do
what it's
that
all about.
exactly. So give everybody a little bit more information about who is Russ Johns and what are you up to?
Well, I am a pirate. If you know, you know. And I really believe that along being a pirate, that we all have an opportunity to share a little kindness, and kindness is cool and smiles are free. So if you're into that mode of state of mind, you can actually join the pirate crew and help spread the word out along the Ethernet and all the online presence. But really, I am a father, brother, son, and I'm a caregiver for mom. She's 87 and here in Arizona, caring for mom, and also just doing what I can to create a little bit of happiness for the people that are out there, and hopefully inspire somebody to do something creative and to make their life a little better, and also learn something new and help somebody in your community, and just spread that whole value.
And you do that. I mean, you brighten my morning every morning with great uplifting posts and text messages, and I love that. And I just appreciate you so much for Russ. Besides having the best name ever, I mean, I'm really thankful for that. But hey, I want to thank Aaron. Thanks, Aaron, for getting the title of my latest work, collaborative work. I'm not quite catching up to Debra, Debra. Because you said you have 5 in the works, so I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, 4, I think, in the works.
So I only have 2 in the works right now, but I'll catch you one of these days. But anyway, thanks, Aaron. I wanted to tell you I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to get Mr. Rob Berry in the room. Rob is back there ready to go. Here he comes. Hey, Rob.
Ooh, my turn. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. You have the greatest voice. You have like a radio voice. You've got that, hey, it's very smooth. And so with that wonderful voice you have, give everybody a snippet. Who is Rob? What are you up to?
So I am probably the only certified public accountant you will meet that hates numbers. I like people. So I spend a majority of my time teaching auditors and accountants soft skills. I like to call them life skills, though I don't really like the term soft skills. I've written quite a few books. I think 4, maybe 5. I lose count. A few of them have hit the top of Amazon charts. I'm also a keynote speaker and a corporate trainer. So that's the short and dirty of it. We'll get messy a little later, right?
Just a few things. We're going to get messy a little bit later for sure. And before that happens, we're going to bring Michael Holt in the room, my good friend. There he is. Hey, Michael.
You saved the best for last. I mean, come on, Russ. There you go.
Huh? Bring it, Michael. Let us know, what is Michael Holt all about, and who are you?
Oh, who am I? I'm an ordinary guy that lives in Vancouver, Washington. Spent 30 plus years in the casino industry. Learned an awful lot around that card table where people came to play little cards, and now running a social media company with my family, my kids, and really kind of just getting out of my own way and listening to what Jesus has to say to see where the next step's going to lead us.
You are a good man and an incredibly great friend. And Michael and I really don't live that far apart. Vancouver, Washington is basically part of Portland, Oregon. They're the same city pretty much. And so he lives very close to me, but we got actually connected through a mutual friend. And it was quite a while of knowing Michael and talking with him before we ever actually met in person. Now, of course, we've been able to see each other a few times and go to a few events, and actually coming up on a super fun dinner we're going to have next week when my little sis and good friend, Dr. Nupi Aurora, is going to be flying into Portland, and D. Scott, Christine, Michael, and Devin and I are all going to go out to dinner next Tuesday. So it's going to be a ton of fun.
Oh,
so,
fantastic.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be great. Russ is good on the air, but when you get him live and in person, if you can imagine, he even gets better. So it's going to be good stuff.
Well, let's hope so. Yeah. And I even get to bring my beautiful wife. You haven't met my beautiful wife and daughter, have you, Michael?
No,
yeah,
not yet.
My wife is coming up. Actually, my daughter, she was going to come, but okay, I'm getting off track. Here we go. So we're talking about when life gets messy. And, I wanted to go back to you, Nancy, and, it is inevitable that no matter how smooth things are going for you at the moment, things are going to happen sometime soon. And that's not a negative. That is just the reality of life that we live. And so when life gets a little bit messy, what do you do? How do you keep sane through it all?
It's absolutely true. If you're doing it right, it's going to get, as I like to say, ugly, snotty, and unsexy. And the timing of this is perfect because I am in an ugly, snotty, unsexy time. And so, it's going to happen. And for me, I know that I remind myself of a few important things. First and foremost, I've made it through 100% of my worst days. And while that may sound kind of flip, I can tell you that I haven't put deodorant on 100% of the time, and I haven't remembered to brush my teeth 100% of the time. So being able to do something every day without fail is a pretty big accomplishment when you think of it. So I remind myself that I've made it through 100% of my worst days. And I have learned, it's not easy for me, but I've learned to reach out. I learned to, even if it's just a simple emoji, just send something to someone. I've also learned to ask people to check in with me, right? Have that, there's certain people in my world that I have plans with. And when things are going wrong or hard, there's a signal emoji that things are hard and I might not be able to pick up the phone, but I'm really in it right now. And that signals them, please reach out to me because I'm in this place and I'm having trouble reaching out to anyone else. There are certain things that we do that will help us neurochemically too. I mean, the exercise is important, daylight, sunshine is important. Actually connecting with people as well gives us that feeling. And, for me, showing up for others. If I can't show up for myself, which very often happens when I'm in the thick of the ugly, snotty, unsexy, I still can show up for others. And in doing that, it gives me connection. It gives me some purpose. It gives me some relief, even if it's for a short while. I tell people all the time, you could be in the darkest place, but nothing says that you can't step out of it for a minute and things still be really icky and ugly and bad, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to ignore that we're in this place, this struggle, this learning event, if we allow ourselves some joy. And in fact, it's important that we find times to laugh and times to, smile and do some things we enjoy, because that's what reminds us, right? Even those little moments, they remind us again and again why it's worth the fight. I'm a huge journaler. So the other thing that I do is I will open up my journals and I will look for the times where I thought I wasn't going to make it. The world was crumbling around me and there was no way that I was going to make it, and read about how I got through it and remind myself almost as if somebody else was telling me a story. Sometimes you have to hear it about someone else. And this last go around, I've been suffering from major depressive episode for a while now. I've had my first major depressive episode when I was 20, and I'm trying something completely different that I've never tried before. And that's another way to do it, is if you've tried other things and you feel like, yeah, they work, but they're temporary, try something new. I'm doing something called TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation up at UCLA. It's a outpatient treatment program for depression, and it's really rigorous. It's 36 appointments, 5 days a week, for 30. And I gotta say, it's the first time in a long time that I felt a shift toward hopeful for something that could be a little bit more permanent. And if I hadn't kept looking, I would never have found this. If I hadn't kept an eye and a mindset of I can try something else, there might be something else out there, I would never have found it. So, a lot of us, when we post, we invite people to share what they do and how they get through. And I think that's hugely important too, because that's a great way to find something new.
It is. And I think that's amazing, Nancy, what you just said there. And that is, don't get stuck in a rut. Don't just keep doing the definition of insanity, the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Look at the opportunities, possibilities, and the technology and whatever is out there. There is so much out there to help us. And we also are a huge part of that, of helping one another, where, like you were talking about, people showing up, helping you. And, Russ, I tell you, we've, as Nancy Debra is taking care of her parents, and you have been involved taking care of your parents. I've been there with you guys both before both of mine passed away. But there's a lot of things in life that really kind of can derail you if you're not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reality is I think to the point that we have an opportunity to share it is uh, a huge value to so many people that we can actually maybe not meet in person. We may not be in the same room. However, I think the stories that we share and the challenges we have, and we can actually, get transparent about them, is something that somebody else can say, wow, I don't, I don't feel alone. I don't, I'm not the only one it's happening to. And, experiencing depression, experiencing, suicide, and some of the things that we go through in our lives, the experiences that we have is there's a reason we're out here on a platform like this talking about the messy times. And I've been through some very dark days, and I haven't really shared a lot about some of the darker days. And I think, to Debra's point, it's really important that we share it and we get this out, not only for our own healing, but for setting an example of how we can get through it and how we can process this information and how we can actually find new and unique ways to understand what we're going through. Because sometimes we're just in a slump and we don't even know how to get out of it. We don't know where to go with it. We don't know how to deal with it. So I think it's important that we share these examples so we can actually help someone else along their journey.
Well, I totally agree. And I think, Robert, that you would agree that when we are at what seemingly dead stop and don't know where to turn, that's when community and family are so important, when others speak into our lives. Take that.
Yeah, community and family are extremely important. I think, especially for us men, we like to conceal what's going on. We don't want to tell anyone because we don't want to place our burdens on anyone else, but we'll take on other people's. But I think as humans, first, we're not so different. We all share a lot of similar characteristics. And when we talk, we actually normalize certain situations. My grandmother used to tell me, talk to people because whenever you're going through a mess, there's a message in it. Now, initially, when I was young, I thought she meant there was a message in it for other people, for them to learn from things that we're doing. As I've gotten older, I realized that is true too, but there's also a message in the middle of mess for us. Because when we reach out to people and start sharing with them, the world opens up. Like there's just this kindness that happens. And I know what it's like when you feel like you're losing touch and hope with humanity. And when we start talking to other people, you get those little hints of humanity. They drop in your daily life. So like Nancy said, check on people. You'll find that people will check on you. But I think we're not all different. We're very similar. And so it helps to really open up to people and reach out when you need help.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, we're much more similar than we understand sometimes. And when you're reaching out with, it's one thing where I was doing a little bit radiating real. Nancy Debra Barrows is the queen of radiating real, and I did a little bit of radiating real in my journey with what I was going through. I was a little vulnerable about what was happening in my life, with the intention to encourage other people. But it did that, and it's continuing to do that. But it also has been so much encouragement and blessing for me. And when we come together, especially through the messy, rough times, that's when we really are able to hold each other up, right? It's just like, I can't remember the exact story I'm thinking of, but it's people just lifting and helping each other. And, Michael, I'm going to let you take it from here, but I think that, when we come together, those messy times don't seem such a mess, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, lifting people up and helping them get through their mess is actually, it's such a gift to be able to do that. What I think is interesting about that is, I wasn't used to when the mess was happening to me. I wasn't quite sure what to do with that. When I got into my role of, working in the casino industry, we had about 425 employees. and I'm a father of 4. And for the most part, again, I've had no complaints. I mean, I went to my local high school. I took pottery and PE at the local college, and pretty soon I found myself in charge of a lot of amazing people. So I've been fairly blessed. But the reason I share that is, when COVID came and the owner of the casino sold, I found myself at a beginning of a mess that was starting to unravel, which I had this safety and security of a great job, great benefits. But I found myself very scared, I guess is the best way to say it. Even though I had 30 years of this experience, I didn't have a degree. I didn't know what I was going to do. And here's what happened. God laid in my hand to start this family business, which again, truly a blessing. But now I'm around my children and they're looking to their dad. So now I have my 4 children working in this business. And I'm not only dealing with my mess and my leadership, but I'm into their messes day in and day out, which carries on such a very unique situation to be in. And just sharing with that, not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I was toe to toe in the office with my son who had a different philosophy than me. And we were toe to toe, and here's the Christian father who's leading with these values, and the son is passionate, and he's telling me, Dad, you effing don't have any idea what you're doing. And I found myself in a mess, right? But you want to cover that up. You don't want anybody to know that, because here again, we act like that white swan on the water leading. So it's very hard to say it's getting messy, but the man above has a plan for that mess because there's opportunity to learn and grow.
Well, and that's just it. You said it, hit the nail right on the head, Michael, and that is, in every mess is an opportunity, right, Nancy? There is an opportunity. Like I say, life happens and then you choose. Things happen to you. You choose where you're going to go from there and what are the opportunities, right?
Absolutely. I know for me personally, my journey's been so messy. Absolutely. Messy, ugly, snotty, and sexy. And when I am able to look back and have gratitude for all of it, it's because it's made me who I am. And that has given me opportunities. It's given me strengths. It's given me skills, all things that I can help with other people. As we're talking, I have a favorite quote from the Velveteen Rabbit, and I'm going to read it because I think it speaks to how the mess helps us become. It says, "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in your joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand." And I absolutely love the quote because it talks about you got to go through it. You got to go through it. You got to learn. And when you come out on the other side, every step of the way, every time you step out of the swamp, you've grown a little. And to the people who understand, to these beautiful souls that, Russ and Mike and Rob have been talking about, the people who show up and you share, and you two, coming back to you, Russ, you were doing it to help others, but it comes back to you. Those people are the ones who, once you're real, don't see ugly. They don't even see battle scars, right? They see the beauty of what happens when you've been through adversity and you come through the other side. And, while the fire's still burning, you're throwing a bucket of water on someone else. So it's just this incredible opportunity that we have with everything we go through. But I think the messy, ugly, snotty, unsexy pieces truly solidify who we are. And like I said, they give us incredible skills and incredible opportunities that we can then turn around and help others. I share my story of having been sexually abused by my grandfather till I was 16 years old, knowing my entire life. I didn't share it till I was 47 publicly. I shared it with the people I know, but never gave it legs and let it out on its own. But all that time I knew that the story was bigger than me. It wasn't, oh, woe is me, poor me, look at everything I've had to go through. It's, hey, you're not alone. I understand, but that, the eating disorder, the major depressive episodes, dropping out of college, being divorced. I mean, life just keeps happening if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you get to be out there living life and being human and learning the whole way. And when you show up, you attract people who are the same.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Because our challenges are in front of us, I believe really to encourage and be a blessing to others that are going to be going through that. I mean, we endure that to make ourselves stronger and really be relatable to people if we use it correctly. And Russ, I think that you've had your share over the 22 years of your life of challenges. So
I still get asked for ID, right? Well, I want to amplify something that Nancy Debra brought up, and I think it's important for us to understand that sharing our story also allows us to get things clear in our mind and learn about ourselves, because sometimes you can't articulate an idea until you've shared it a few times and understand what that emotion triggers in our body, in our mind, in our emotional state. And I think by sharing your story, even sharing publicly, it's a dangerous place for a lot of people. However, as we grow into this opportunity, we're not only healing ourselves, but we're also healing others around us that have a similar experience. And like Mike was saying, it really, it's really about, realizing that we are going through a mess, and we can share it, and we can actually articulate this idea and pose the question. Have you ever had a circumstance where you've struggled to go through it and you didn't know who to call, you didn't know who to ask, you didn't know who to talk to? and that happens so often. And I think, we need to be able to articulate this a little more. And, I'm going to be speaking in New York on Saturday about this exact idea of, going through a mess, learning how to cope with it, learning how to discover what we're going through and how we're dealing with it, to make sure that we understand, okay, who am I? I need to get back to who I am, not who I think I should be for someone else. I don't need to post the Instagram lifestyle. I need to pose the reality of what life is. And I think that's more real than anything we can get. So, yeah,
no, I completely agree. And by the way, I'm totally envious. I would love to be there in New York. Andrea's, this is going to be amazing. And so many good friends there. I was blessed to see Andrea at Perspectives on Cancer conference this year, though. Tim put on in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I did make it back to that one. Have to pick and choose with my health what I'm actually going back to. So I got to take it easy on myself. Or my beautiful wife is not happy, and neither is my daughter and my son. They keep a close eye on me. So anyway, but Rob, I tell you that the whole idea of perspective, and I think about this perspective and mindset as you go through these challenges, it really affects everything we're doing, right? And as life gets messy.
Yeah, the mind is a complex thing, and we can be tricked into believing things that aren't necessarily true. And oftentimes we need other people to help us see the light, I guess, so to speak. So my grandmother used to say something else to me. She used to say, when you feel like you can't help yourself, help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think it was crazy, but it kind of goes back to what Russ Johns just said. I think there are really three reasons why she said that, because now we know that research tells us that when we help other people, we naturally feel good. It releases endorphins and hormones within us when we're helping other people. But I think the second thing is when we're helping other people, oftentimes we share with them and confide some certain things in them. And like Russ said, you need to learn how to tell your story. So it helps you to articulate your story better. But then also when you help other people, you start to build community. And I'll tell you a real quick story. So I was doing a keynote speech at a conference in Dallas about 2 weeks ago. And I was getting ready to walk up the stairs to the conference room. And this guy stopped me and he said, "Rob, thank you so much." I was like, "For what?" Because I didn't really remember who he was or what I had done. And he said that 3 years ago, he had lost his job and he was looking for a job. And he was looking for a job in higher education, which is the field that I had worked in for about 15 years. And he sent me an email and asked if he could talk to me. And he said, I talked to him. And as soon as he started recounting the story, I remember I spent about an hour and a half on the phone with this gentleman. And he remembered that. And he said it helped him get through a hard time in his life. But what he didn't know was just me talking to him helped me out as well, because right before the pandemic, I had lost a job, lost all of my income, ended up homeless, had to move back in with my parents, made $10,000 in 2020. And I don't say that as a brag. I mean the entire year. And was trying to rebuild everything in life. And then talking to him and other people, I rebuilt everything, turned everything around. And now, the hill is probably up here and I'm probably right there where I was, all the way down here. So talking to him helped me just as much as it helped him. And even though I didn't remember him initially, as soon as he started recounting, I remembered. I talked to you over Zoom. Here's what we talked about. He was like, "Yeah, you remember?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember." But we both remembered this impactful incident for different reasons. And we both ended up helping each other out when he actually reached out to me for help. That to me is the most amazing thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I tell you that the impact we can have on people is amazing, even in the midst of struggle. And, Michael, I'm telling you, you're learning that every day. You and I have lots of good talks about that. And so talk a little bit some more about that. And especially with, it's tough working with family. I mean, because you love them and they're part of your family, but at the same time, it can get really messy with the whole crew.
It can, Russ. And again, the blessing, like you said, is we are there for each other. We are able to lift each other up, and you can't overemphasize that enough. Again, it's funny working with your family and being able to see their messes. When we talked about we're promoting this message today was, you can't help but make it your fault. But when the kids are going through their messes, actually, it's a gift. You almost have to sit back and decide where you're going to help and where you're not going to help, because they've got to get through it to be able to grow. And I'll tell you, that's been really difficult for me. My daughter is actually my business partner. She brought the concept to me. She's actually my boss. She's the CEO of the company, much younger than me. So I always joke that she either has to keep me on or she has to get rid of me and take care of me. But, we she's 30 something and I'm 50 something, and I've got all this life experience that you want to give them, but you have to watch them put the hand on the stove. You're going to watch them with their leadership and the way they communicate. And it's really difficult to know, like I said, when to step into the middle of that mess, either for them or for myself, and when to let the lesson that needs to take place happen. It's really, it's difficult. It really is.
Yeah. Well, and I believe that. I mean, raising two children, actually, my beautiful wife probably did most of it. I was just there smiling. But no, it is tough to know when to step in, when messes happen, when life happens. And as we roll into our last round here, Nancy, I want you to really give everybody what would be your golden nugget of our conversation today, something you really want everybody to remember, and then make sure and let everybody know how they get in touch with you, because anybody who's not already in touch with you definitely wants to get in touch with you. So go for it.
Oh goodness. I think there, if I'm going to go with two. One is if you're in the mess, the ugly, snotty, unsexy, or if you've been there before, just knowing, and I say it this way on purpose, if you're doing it right, if you're out there living life and being human, it's going to get messy. And so when those things happen, to try not to get discouraged, to think this is happening to me because, or I'm knocked down, I'm never going to get up. It's part of the journey. And a really important part I put in there is the difference between saving and supporting. And we want to be careful not to rob people of their growing moments by saving them all the time. And it's really important to be able to sit with people in the yuck and just be with them. And to share again what everybody's been saying about people sharing their stories and showing up authentically. There's huge power to showing up as is. There's huge power to sharing your journey and your story. And that while you may not think that your story is important or powerful, because I know I didn't think mine was, it's the only story I knew. I lived it. I didn't think it was important, powerful, or going to help anybody. It just was Nancy Debra's life, right? That we all do, that we all have a powerful, impactful story. And if you can start to share it, amazing things happen. We all know that because we've gotten brave and done it. And it's hard to just trust that, oh yeah, it's going to be great. But you've got people here telling you, trust the journey. And, I think for all of us who are out there sharing, another reminder that your story doesn't have to look exactly like mine for me to be able to relate to it, for me to be able to have empathy, and for me to be able to show up for you. So please don't use those internal report cards to give yourself an F and compare your story to someone else's. Let your story shine. Let your story take center stage for the people who need to hear it. We can give one another the gift of reflecting back how we are seen. And I think in sharing your story, when people reflect back to you how you're seen, when you have taken off that mask and given that unconditional love and acceptance, it's one of the greatest gifts that we can give to another or be given. But until you take off that mask and you show up real, people can't do that for you. So give people a shot. Remember your story is important, and remember that it's part of the process, that the ugly, snotty, unsexy is if you're doing it right, you will find yourself there.
Mm.
Total mic drop. That is so well said. And how do people get in touch with you though? Because they want to know more than that.
Yeah, I'm a big LinkedIn gal. You can find me on LinkedIn, Nancy Debra, Debra Barrows, and I know that it'll be in the comments, and I know that it's on the post. So you can find me also on Facebook or Instagram, or send me some smoke signals. It's fine. We'll find each other. And if you're having trouble, then get in touch with Russ, because he knows exactly how to put you in touch with me. And it's been such an honor and privilege to be here with all of you amazing souls who I admire so greatly, and who have more than once inspired me in my journey and helped me through my ugly, snotty, unsexy times.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. And I'm feel blessed every time we get to do this. And we're going to jump here to Mr. Russ Johns next. Take it away, Russ.
I just want to thank Nancy Debra, because I've watched you from day one, I think. And, it's really amazing to watch someone actually thrive in the mess. And I also want to take Rob's grandmother's message and amplify it as well, to say it's difficult to feel sorry for yourself when you're helping someone out with their difficult circumstance. And that's where the idea that help more people comes from. If you're helping more people amplify their positive message with kindness and consideration and gratitude, it's difficult to feel sorry for yourself at any length of time. So I encourage everybody to, don't think that you have to show up perfectly. Imperfect perfection, and the mess is welcome in most circles, and we underestimate the value of our honesty and our story. So I would recommend that we all let loose a little bit more, get transparent, and see who we can help and assist along their day. Because you never know who you're going to touch in the grocery store, in the mall, wherever you happen to be. You can actually make a difference, and everyone here makes a difference. And I think that if we all take that approach in life, we'll make make life a little better.
Awesome. Yeah. And Russ, people get in touch with you.
I'm like Nancy Debra. You could find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, X, and just track me down, search out the Pirate Syndicate. And I got a few things going on with that. So I'd love to connect, catch up. And you can always book a call at bookruss.com.
And as you all are speaking, this is magically appearing under you on the screen. And everybody remember that when it's in the comments and in the show notes, it's clickable. You can click on it. You go straight to them. So do that today.
Thank
Rob,
you, Russ.
You bet. Thanks, Russ. Hey, Rob, you're up next.
Ooh, okay. So, you know what? Here's what I'll say. When you're going through a mess, you have to stay strong. And let me give you an acronym for that. So strong, S, self-care. Prioritize it. T, take a break. Allow yourself to rest and recharge. R, reach out to people because that's your support system. O, optimize your mindset. It's not as bad as you think. N, nurture resilience. And G, gratitude. I'm Robert Berry. You can find me on LinkedIn. And if you need a kick butt keynote speaker for any type of event, I'm the person you need to call.
All right.
I'm calling already. Calling already because it's so awesome, Rob. I love every chance we get to chat, and incredible. Thank you so much. And all your information is right there, ready to roll. Anybody can just click on it, and they're going straight to Rob. And if you need a kick butt keynote speaker, he's your man. I can't speak, but you know what I mean. All right. Michael Holt, you're up next.
You know, I love it, Rob. Good stuff. I love the acronym for strong. That's pretty good stuff. And, I couldn't help but think about, I had a great message earlier in the week, and it was your last resort should always be your first resort. And buddy Ray Higgins made a comment about that, saying the power of prayer. I don't want to forget that. And on Monday of this week was Zig Ziglar's birthday. Would have been his 97th birthday. And his quote seems to be appropriate right now. One of his all-time best quotes was, you can get everything in life that you want if you help enough others get what they want. And that's what this team is talking about. When we're going through the mess, look to reach out. Yeah. Don't forget the power of prayer, because in that moment that you're going through darkness, there's typically two things you need to do. One, you either need to find the miracle, which, those still happen today, or you need to manage yourself through that process. But either way, whatever happens in that moment, that will become your message where you can serve others. And you can reach me, Michael at, LinkedIn social media. What is it, Russ? Where we go? Facebook. Just go and find Michael Holt. It was funny. You've got my team money at hotmail.com. That's starting to date how old I am. You can also find me at michael@lincolnmediagroup.com. You know what? I'm here to always help any way I can. And if you ever need a prayer, if you ever need an ordinary guy to kind of share what he's done in life, I'd love to talk with you.
Well, and I can be a witness to great conversations with Michael. Amazing. And I forgot Nancy had to jump off a little bit early, so she had to go. But I'm telling you that this has been an amazing conversation, and you all are so full of encouragement, wisdom, and blessing. I feel blessed every day just to be friends with all of y'all, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm just thankful for the show tonight. The time we get to actually put this out there to encourage other people. And also, I want to encourage everybody, connect with these people. When we come together, we are better together. Always we are better together. So I want to tell all of you that I'm so thankful. I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to send you out to the green room, but hang tight, because I want to talk to you real quick before you go. Okay? Thanks, guys. Wow. Okay. As always, amazing. It is just like so many gold nuggets. You need to go back and watch this again. Go to YouTube at russreels.live and you can have all the content, including this show, to watch again, or you can watch on your favorite social media. And I'm telling you, this is good stuff. Good stuff. If you didn't catch it all, go back and watch it on replay. If you are watching this on replay, please put hashtag team replay. Let us know you were here. Say hi. You can still connect. You can still share. You can still tag your friends. So much stuff you can still do, even if you watch it after it was live. So appreciate everybody being here tonight. Don't forget, we're here every Thursday at 8 a.m. I mean, at 8 a.m. Sorry, wrong show. At 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time or Pacific Standard Time, whatever it is. 4 p.m. every week, Pacific Time. There we go. Let's go with that. And I am so thankful to have this opportunity to share with you, to gain wisdom from these amazing people. Hope you did too tonight. And just want to thank y'all for being here. Until next Thursday, I'm just going to say, have a wonderful day and a wonderful life. We'll talk to you then. Bye, everybody. See ya.